After years and years of getting left behind from all the fun features and seemingly always getting the short stick, the standard iPad finally received some love in late 2022. Without much fanfare, Apple gave its essential slate a pretty big design makeover and erased years and years of reusing the same general design language that is, frankly said, quite outdated these days. Apple iPad 10th Gen unboxing. Inside the iPad 10th Gen box, you'll find the tablet itself, your usual booklets, and Apple stickers, 2 of them here, a 20W USB-C wall charger, and a braided USB-C to USB-C cable that's mostly similar to the one you'd find. It's great to see that Apple hasn't decided to spare its tablets from the essential charging accessory. Apple iPad 10th Gen design and colors. Okay, it's been a while, but the vanilla iPad has been kept on the back burner for too long as far as design changes come and go. No longer is this true with the iPad 10th Gen, which employs a design language that's much in line with the iPad Pro and iPad Air lineups. We're talking about uniform bezels all around that make the tablet look much more modern, despite the fact that they still have a palpable thickness. The new FaceTime camera is tucked on one of the long bezels, so at least Apple has made the most out of the situation and not resorted to a notch as on the latest MacBooks. Gone are the slightly curved lines at the back, which greatly improved the ergonomics, as the base iPad has now scored the same chamfer design that has been running amok at the Apple HQ for a few years now. The non-laminated screen up front is encased in a premium-feeling aluminum unibody, which has all the essential Apple bells and whistles, volume buttons in the upper right side, dual loudspeakers, and a power button at the top frame that also houses the Touch ID fingerprint scanner. Apple iPad 10th Gen display. The iPad 10th Gen comes with a 10.9-inch display, 0.7 inches larger than last year, with a 2360 x 1640 pixel resolution and a 264p sharpness, which sadly isn't enough to label it as Retina, but Apple went ahead and named it Liquid Retina instead. Let's get one thing out of the way: this iPad doesn't have a particularly exciting display. It's a non-laminated, not very bright LCD screen with mediocre contrast that runs at 60 Hz, and it's not excessively sharp, so it's a far cry from Apple's mini LED displays on its more premium tablets, and light years away from OLED displays, which are superior in almost any way. Apple iPad 10th Gen camera. The iPad comes with a single wide-angle camera, a 12MP p.4.8 shooter. That's quite the improvement over the 8MP f2.4 camera on its predecessor. The new iPad can also shoot 4K at 6:9 videos now, so it finally joins the big boy. The rear camera offers a maximum of 5x digital zoom, while the camera app itself provides a shortcut to a 2x digital zoom option. How's the image quality? Well, it's okay, and there's nothing inherently wrong with it. But let's be honest, you'll only reach out for the camera app on the iPad 10th Gen if all your other gadgets are low on battery. iPad 10th Gen camera sample. What's more interesting here is the new FaceTime camera, which, despite the lack of hardware improvements, still supports the awesome center stage feature. That one is pretty important for video calls, as it would use AI to keep you centered in the center of the frame at all times. The selfie camera is positioned on the long landscape edge of the tablet, making FaceTime and other video calls look way more natural, as the front camera is no longer askewed to the side. Apple iPad 10th Gen connectivity. The iPad 10th Gen has also scored 5G support for the cellular model, which is definitely a big improvement over the paltry LTE support of the previous iPad. The jump to Wi-Fi 6 is also a good thing to have, especially considering that you're much more likely to use the device at home, where a Wi-Fi network is usually the main connectivity method of choice. Apple iPad 10th Gen OS version. Just like any modern iPad, this slate here comes along with iPad OS, and iPad OS 16 in particular. While it lacks many of the key features that made iOS 16 noteworthy, namely the fresh new lock screen customization, iPad OS 16 is an excellent update for Apple's largest mobile devices. It comes with shared iCloud photo library, iMessage improvements, enhanced collaboration, and more. Apple iPad 10th Gen battery. Equipped with a 28.6 Wh battery, which should be similar in terms of capacity to the 28.65 Wh battery in the iPad Pro 11. 2021 has a capacity of 7,530 mAh. The iPad 10th Gen is a pretty durable slate. You can easily expect it to last you 2 days of regular usage, like some web browsing, half an hour FaceTime call, and a few episodes of your favorite show. On the Phone Arena browsing battery test, which involves automated web surfing and scrolling over a Wi-Fi network at 200 nits of preset screen brightness, the iPad 10th Gen endured for 10 hours and 30 minutes a rather respectable result. In our dedicated 3D gaming test, it lasted for 6 hours and 40 minutes and actually outlasted the Moan-powered iPad Pro 11-inch. Finally, in the video streaming test, the battery was good for less than 7 hours, which is an acceptable, albeit not ideal result. Apple iPad 10th Gen charging speed. With the included 20W USB-C charging brick, it takes the iPad 10th Gen 2 hours and 22 minutes to get full. That's enough time to watch Goodfellas, The Shining, or Forrest Gump, which should put things in perspective nicely. And yet, charging the tablet for an hour brings it up to around 50%, which should get you covered for a while. Apple iPad 10th Gen audio quality and haptics. Yet another huge upgrade over the previous budget iPads is here. Actual dual stereo speakers that are positioned on the correct opposite sides of the tablet. The old budget iPads did have dual stereo speakers too, but both were on the same side of the device, which kind of defeats the purpose. Overview. So, the iPad 10th Gen is fresh and new, finally ditching the old school design that has graced the lineup for years, and has scored some cool new tricks to boot, elevating it on a mostly equal playing field with the rest of the iPad lineup. However, it has also migrated from its usual super affordable position, which remains the residence of last year's iPad 9th Gen. For a slightly more premium price point, it's still a great bang for the buck. Don't get us wrong, but the value for money factor is not as good this time around. There's nothing inherently wrong with the iPad 10th Gen. It still gets the basics right and elevates the base iPad experience to new dimensions. For school or for not so professional use cases, the 10th generation iPad is hard to beat. But so is the iPad 9th Gen. And for slightly more money, the iPad Air is really hard to pass up. We are going to end this video right away. If you have any query or information to share, please leave a comment. Thanks for watching.